When we look at the map of the United States, the names of its 50 states are more than just labels. They are echoes of the past, carrying the weight of cultures, languages, and histories that shaped the nation. While many states draw from Native American words, another strong influence came from the Spanish language, a reminder of exploration, colonization, and cultural blending. In this episode of 5W Explore, we journey through the origins of states whose names bear Spanish roots, or a fusion of Spanish and native traditions. Let's uncover the stories behind them. Colorado. Colorado, meaning the color red in Spanish, is a tribute to the reddish silt carried by the Colorado River. Early Spanish explorers noticed the striking hue of the waters and the surrounding landscapes, naming it accordingly. The state's geography, from red rock canyons to high desert plateaus, still reflects this identity. Beyond the color, Colorado became a crossroads for cultures. Native tribes such as the Ute and Apache thrived here long before Spanish expeditions, and later settlers brought mining and railroads. The name, both descriptive and poetic, perfectly encapsulates the natural richness that still defines the state today. Florida. The name Florida is one of the oldest Spanish imprints on the American map. In 1513, Spanish explorer Juan Ponce de León landed on its shores during the Easter season. Known in Spanish as Pascua Florida, meaning Feast of Flowers, the land's lush greenery and blossoming vegetation inspired the name. La Florida, the land of flowers. Florida's history reflects this early contact, marked by Spanish missions, ports, and settlements that predated even Jamestown. While the British briefly controlled Florida, Spain reclaimed it until ceding it to the U.S. in 1821. Yet the name remains a poetic marker of its earliest European identity. Montana. Montana, simply meaning mountain in Spanish, is a straightforward yet evocative name. Spanish explorers, marveling at the towering Rocky Mountains, chose this word to describe the rugged land. Interestingly, despite its Spanish origin, Montana had little direct Spanish settlement compared to the Southwest. Instead, the name reflects a linguistic inheritance, chosen later during the territorial period because of its resonance with the land's geography. Today, Montana's wide skies, jagged peaks, and unspoiled wilderness still justify its Spanish title. It stands as a reminder that even language alone can carry the spirit of exploration. Nevada. Nevada, derived from the Spanish word for snow-covered, points directly to the Sierra Nevada mountain range. Early explorers from Spain and Mexico named it for the peaks glistening white with snow. The term evokes both beauty and danger, the snow that sustains rivers but also challenged settlers. Nevada's history is tied to mining booms and frontier survival, but its name recalls something older, the awe of Spanish-speaking travelers witnessing untamed mountains. Even today, Nevada carries a dual meaning: desert heat below, eternal snow above. New Mexico. New Mexico's name is a curious blend of Spanish imagination and indigenous identity. Spanish explorers, upon reaching lands north of the Rio Grande, believed they had discovered a region connected to the riches of the Aztec Empire in Mexico. They called it Nuevo Mexico. Despite the fact that the Aztecs had never lived there, the name stuck, and centuries later, when it became a U.S. state, it preserved this layered identity. Native Pueblo, Apache, and Navajo traditions remain vibrant in New Mexico, making it a living mosaic where Spanish, Native, and Anglo-American cultures intersect. Texas. Texas derives from the Caddo word Taisha, meaning friends or allies, but its adoption and transformation came through Spanish colonists. The Spanish pronounced it as Tejas and used it to refer to both the indigenous people and the territory. Eventually, the anglicized version became Texas. This fusion shows how Spanish influence acted as a bridge, carrying native terms into the broader colonial vocabulary. Today, Texas embodies this dual heritage. The Lone Star State retains strong Hispanic roots in language, culture, and identity, while still honoring the native origins of its name. Utah. Utah's name traces back to the Ute people, one of the region's indigenous groups. The Spanish referred to them as Utes, which became the foundation of the modern name. Though the Ute never used this term themselves, it entered maps through Spanish explorers and missionaries. Utah's story is thus one of mediation, a native identity filtered through Spanish description, then fixed by American settlers. The mountains, deserts, and sacred lands of the Ute remain central to the state's character, reminding us that names carry not just sound, but legacies of encounter. Arizona. Arizona's origins are contested, with theories linking it to both native and Spanish roots. One popular version suggests it comes from the Basque Spanish phrase, arida zona, meaning arid zone, reflecting its desert climate. Another theory traces it to the Oadam term, ali zona G, or small spring. Over time, Spanish settlers likely blended these influences, cementing the hybrid name, Arizona. The ambiguity itself is symbolic. Arizona has always been a meeting ground of cultures, languages, and landscapes, from desert canyons to native pueblos. Its name captures this spirit of blending. California. California is perhaps the most romantic of Spanish-inspired names. It traces back to a 16th-century Spanish novel, Los Sergas de Esplandian, which described a mythical island ruled by Queen Calafia, abundant in gold and riches. Early explorers, encountering the peninsula of Baja California, believed they had found this legendary place and named it accordingly. The name spread northward as territories were mapped, eventually covering today's California. Thus, the state's name reflects not only geography, but also imagination, a Spanish literary dream projected onto real land. Oregon. Oregon's etymology is debated, but one compelling theory links it to the Spanish word, orejon, meaning big ear, possibly referencing local tribes or landmarks described by explorers. Others argue it derives from French or indigenous sources. While uncertain, the Spanish connection remains part of its etymological puzzle. Oregon's forests, rivers, and rugged coastlines add to the mystery, fitting for a name with unclear roots. Whether from Spanish, French, or native origins, Oregon embodies the layered history of naming in America. From Florida's land of flowers to Nevada's snowy mountains. From California's mythical kingdom to Texas's legacy of friendship. These names are more than labels on a map. They are testaments to the encounters between Spain, native peoples, and the young United States. Each name carries a fragment of history, sometimes clear, sometimes mysterious, but always profound. If you enjoyed this journey into the origins of America's Spanish-named states, don't forget to like this video, share it with friends, and subscribe to 5W Explore for more hidden stories of history and geography. The past is written not only in books, but also in the very names we speak every day.